Hey everybody, this is Corey from Bigger Than Cardboard. Super excited I got to sit down with my friend Travis Doodles here at Worth and Purpose and talk about the impact that he has been able to have with your help in supporting Collect for Good and Bigger Than Cardboard to end homelessness here in Central Florida. People's lives have been changed as a result of the hobby, as a result of all of your support. And the more we can do to support him, the more lives are going to be changed. So thank you so much for your support. Super excited for you guys to hear our conversation today. We've been doing each other, what? We're going 2 years now, right? Probably.
It's got to be longer than that because I started Worth and Purpose over 4 years ago, and you came in around the beginning.
Yeah.
When I did my first pitch.
Yeah.
Brad brought you in.
Brad, yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So remember this. I don't know if you remember the story. Brad and I. So I stayed up till like 2 a.m. one night randomly on YouTube. Algorithm pumped your content to me, and I watched it, and I'm crying my eyes out. I watched every video you had at that point. I'm like bawling my eyes out till 2 a.m. The next morning I was having breakfast with Brad and we're talking about him like retiring or like selling his business, whatever he's doing. And I'm like, what are you gonna do next? And he's like, well, I think I'm gonna do like this podcast thing. And I'm like, okay, tell me about that. It's kind of different. Cause he was in the RV business. And he's like, well, I know this guy, like I don't know what he told me the relationship was. I don't remember. It's like, and he's got this like, super crazy following online, but like, he's not doing anything with it really. So I was thinking about trying to maybe help him out. He's like, he's got this nonprofit, it's called Worth and Purpose. And I'm like, bell run off. I'm like, Worth and Purpose, Travis Doodles? He's like, yeah, like just nonchalant, like, yeah, like, dude, I don't even know that guy, where that guy, like, I know nothing about that guy. I just know I stayed up until 2 a.m, literally
the night before.
6 hours before. And then we came to meet you 2 days later over here. We were running around town in the bikes and all that. And that was, remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how we met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So that's the story.
Wow. Yeah. That is it.
So like, we're here to talk about Worth and Purpose, what y'all are doing. And obviously my desire is that we have the business community, namely what our company, Bigger Than Cardboard, does, support you in every way that we can.
I appreciate it.
So we want to know your story, that maybe we can reach a different audience than you've already reached so incredibly, that they can understand who you are, what you do, why what you do is so important, and then rally a whole different crowd to support you is the hope.
Yeah.
And so we'll be starting doing that through going to the national and doing a charity stream where 100 cents on the dollar that comes in the door is going to go to Worth and Purpose.
Wow. And
so we really want to just let the world know in our industry, in the hobby, we call it, who Travis Doodles is, what Worth and Purpose is, and how to support, and kind of just tell your story real quick.
Okay. Well, I'll give you the short version because the long version, we'd be here for hours and I don't want to bore anybody. But basically, 5 years ago, I was working for this millionaire in Tampa, and my job was to ride around in Rolls Royces and private jets. I was getting paid six figures, and I was living this millionaire lifestyle through the sky. But the whole concept of it was to be his videographer, film material things of this flashy lifestyle, and just kind of put it out on Instagram. And I just was like, all right, this is cool, I guess, but like this doesn't motivate me. I'm chasing impact over income the older I'm getting, and I wanted to basically make my life count, and I want to make a difference while I'm here. So for me, there's nothing wrong with having nice things, but like I just don't care about Rolls Royces and Ferraris. I just don't. And so I told my private driver at the time, I'm telling you, I was living a millionaire lifestyle, and I'm like,
it sounds like a billionaire lifestyle.
I mean, it was pretty extravagant. And I told my driver, and he didn't like his job either. And I was like, dude, if I had this guy's money, I would just give it all away. And the second those words left my mouth, I felt like God said, well, do it. Put your money where your mouth is. If you're not giving now with the little you have, what makes you think you'll do it if I gave you millions? 100%. Do it now. And I was kind of like blown away where I'm like, man, what does that mean? And I felt like he told me to do something extreme because he wanted me to be all in. And really, like, that was my only option, was to rely on him. And I felt like I was supposed to quit my job and give away all my money. And so I did it. And so I quit my job, and I just started going out to the streets, just giving away thousands of dollars to random strangers, putting homeless people in hotel rooms, paying for people's gas, paying for people's groceries, just trying to make somebody's day better while also sharing my faith and just loving on people. And a couple months went by, nothing was happening. And I'm like, you know what? This is the craziest thing I've ever done. And I'm like, well, I'm a videographer. I might as well document this, and so I can look back on what God did. And it was just kind of crazy what happened from there. I mean, I started just documenting all these interesting people I was meeting, and I met this homeless guy named Bob, and he had cancer. And I started a nonprofit in the middle of all this because I'm like, the only way this might work is if I do ministry full time. So I meet Bob at the park, and I asked my very small audience. I had no views, no followers really, but I just saw other people doing GoFundMe's for people, and I just said, you know what? Let me try this. This is Mr. Bob. He's homeless. He has cancer. Do you want to help me get him off the street? I didn't know what was going to happen. I just put the video out. I woke up the next morning and the video had 20 million views. And so I was blown away. And $10,000 came in overnight, took all that money, and we got Bob off the street. And it's been 4 years now where Bob beat cancer. He's never been homeless again, and he just bought his first home. So it's super wild what God did with that. And I knew right away when we got Bob off the street that I just wanted to do this for the rest of my life, but I didn't know how. And basically, after that video went viral, this whole thing just snowballed. And then every video went viral. Millions of views on every platform. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok all exploded at the same time. And so I was able to make a living off social media. And then all the donations would go back out to the people. And so I was funded, and the ministry was funded basically overnight. And it just makes no sense on paper. It's just crazy what God did. And so the ministry's going, and now I'm able to survive, and random strangers are just donating to help the next person. And then we got an ice cream truck because I thought that would be a pretty cool way to reach people. It's free ice cream. We've served over 20,000 people out of that van. And it's just been a fun way to evangelize, meet people, and homeless people have gotten off the street because of a homeless people have gotten off the street because of a homeless
well, that
people.
Too.
Yeah,
but
homeless people have gotten off the street because of a silly ice cream sandwich.
Yeah.
So it's been really cool that something like an ice cream truck could save people's lives. And then someone donated a barber trailer, so then we had a mobile barber shop.
And you were a barber.
Yeah,
before all of this, right?
I've been a barber for 20 years.
Right.
So I knew how to cut hair. So now I cut hair. So I have a mobile barber shop, all free haircuts. I have an ice cream truck, and then somebody donated a pizza van. So now we have ice cream, pizza, and haircuts, which is like the best mobile outreach ever.
And golf.
And yeah, well, I have a golf course now that somebody donated. I don't want people to think I'm buying golf courses, but
not an actual golf course.
Well, putt.
A green.
Yeah. Well, we got a piece of property because I needed a place to put all these vehicles that God kept blessing us with, and then a place where I could bring back all these people because we're developing hundreds of relationships out in the streets over the past 4 years of just loving on people, getting people off the street, bringing people hope, meeting needs, all of it, just doing the hands and feet of Jesus type of stuff. Like whatever the Bible says, we're out in the streets and we're trying to do it. And so we got this piece of property to bring people back to, and hundreds of people started showing up. We're feeding everybody. We're clothing people, haircuts, showers, big outreaches, worship nights, all types of stuff. And then I just kind of looked in the mirror and I'm like, oh my gosh, we have a church, and it's a church for the homeless at that, because that's who we really are reaching. And there's been so many lives being transformed here. So much stuff's going on. And every week it's growing bigger and bigger. And now we need a bigger building. And like just the need is so big. It's a good problem to have. But like we can't fit everybody that keeps coming here. And it's just wild. I can't explain it. I didn't plan any of this.
Yeah.
I didn't plan any of the YouTube, the mobile outreach vehicles, the building, the homeless church, nothing. It was just God told me to do something that was kind of crazy, and I said yes, and then this is the fruit of it.
Yeah.
Super wild. But
one of the things, the first thing is that drew me to you that I really appreciate about you is that you live out what you're saying. There's a lot of people out there in the world, in every walk of life, in every nationality, in every group, every community, that say a bunch of stuff, but then the rest of the time they're not on camera, or they're not in front of people, they're living different, or they're not putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
So for you, the biggest thing that has impacted me in our relationship, at least at the beginning, was you actually did it. Like you went out and you sacrificed and you gave. So that's one. But the second thing that I love is that there's a lot of people out there that mean really well and that are, you know, doing things for the homeless. So I'd love to talk more about and have you talk more about the difference between worth and purpose and, you know, and again, nothing wrong with these other charities that do great work, but, you know, difference between a you know, Salvation Army or just some other, all the organization that tries to help people get off the street. Share a little about what the impact, like the things you've learned about how it permanently you've ended homelessness or helped people end homelessness. Because I think that's the differentiator too in my head is like getting people life change versus just handing out food, getting them a place to stay for the night. All those things are great. But how do we transform people so that their life is different so that then they can have the impact on the next person that they can show up for that can understand their testimony. So talk about that a little bit.
Okay. So I work with all of the other organizations in town that are bigger than me. And I'm kind of the man on the street for all of them because they don't have a man on the street. So the difference between my ministry and other ministries is I'm going out to the people. Like these other big organizations, it's kind of like they have a building and a phone number. And then it's like, I'm in crisis. I'm going to look it up and I'm going to call that number and see if they can help me. Versus me, I'm going out to where the people are at. And then I try to connect them to bigger resources if I don't have the capacity to help them. So I think that the main thing, though, the difference between our nonprofit and other nonprofits is I consider us care over service. So a lot of those places, they're service-based, where it's like, well, this is what you need, and we check the boxes and we do those things, where we don't really offer any services. We do help people get housing. We do help people eat and get clothed and shower and haircuts and all that stuff. Like those are things that we do, but like that's not what we do. We are in the world of loving people where they're at and relationship. That is where real transformation comes. Like people don't need another program. They actually need love, and they want to feel seen, and they want to know that they are valued and that God loves them and sees them. And it's a discipleship solution, in my opinion. People need to know they have worth and purpose. That is the simple way to put it, where it's like, yes, you can house somebody, but like if they are not transformed through relationship and through discipleship and you know, doing life with people, then a roof over their head will help as far as keeping them out of the rain, but it's not gonna, like, people need community. And that is where we come in strong. We build community. We do life with people. Like, it's not like I just feed a homeless guy and then it's like, all right, thanks, buddy, for coming. See you later. No, this guy has my cell phone. I know his name. I know his story. I hug him when he hasn't showered in 2 weeks. I don't care. We are loving people unconditionally. And that is where I'm seeing the real transformation, where if it's service-based, it's just like, well, here you go, bud. I don't know what your name is, and I don't really care what your name is. I'm giving you the service you asked for or what you need. And, you know, I mean, obviously the nonprofits care, but like we are on steroids of loving people, doing life with people, knowing your name, knowing your story, and like walking this out with you. And that is a big difference. And that takes a lot of time, and that takes a lot of resources and a lot of emotional bandwidth. And it's not easy, but it's totally worth it. And that's where I've seen the most transformation come, is actually being active and doing life with people.
Totally. And I think, you know, I called you Friday, or tried to get a hold of you Friday. You didn't pick up the phone, and you sent me a text and you said, I'm at the dentist right now with Russ. He's getting some teeth removed. So that's the kind of stuff, right? You're grabbing Russ, you're taking him, helping him out, building relationship, showing up for him, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, a lot of the other nonprofits, and I mean, they do a million things that I can't do because they have way bigger facilities, way bigger budgets, but they're probably not taking a homeless guy to go get his teeth pulled. I mean, there's places where you can go there and you can get that done, but like I'm picking that guy up in my vehicle and bringing him to the dentist. And you know, there's just not a lot of, because I'm doing life with Russell. There's not a lot of places that do that.
And so I think there's also some, to change topics just a hair, but I want people to understand why there's such a need to support Worth and Purpose. And so I think a lot of people have this stigma that Travis is this like famous YouTuber and he's got plenty of money, so he's just giving away all of his money. It's no big deal. He's just making millions of dollars. It simply isn't the case, right? And so a lot of that shifted for you a year and a half ago or so. So talk a little bit about what the need is and how where things are today, right? Obviously, you're getting ready to launch a whole bunch of new content, right? But like, what is that like? How can bigger than cardboard? How can the community that is out there in the hobby understand where you are, and how do they support you?
So people see my YouTube following, they see everything that we've done, and they just like automatically think that translates to millions of dollars, which it's not true.
Because they see all these other people being
Right.
flashy and driving Lamborghinis and whatever, right?
Well, I do short form content, so that does not make money like people think it does.
Right.
And then also, I don't sell anything. I'm not capitalizing off stuff, which I need to figure out how to make some money with social media because I do have a big following, and it would help more people if I had more money coming in. But like I've just been focused on serving people, not trying to run a business or do anything like that. So people see the numbers, they think I'm rich and famous, but it's not the case at all. My following is 16 and below. They don't have buying power. They're not like donating like adults would. And so there's just a big misconception where views equals dollars, and it just doesn't. I wish it did. I wish it was true what some people think, but it's just not. And the creator fund ran out, so like shorts does not pay. Even when it was paying, it was like enough to make a living, but it wasn't like, oh, this guy's making millions. Like long form content makes way much more money, and I just don't do long form. But also running a church for the homeless, the members don't exactly keep the lights on like a regular church. There's no money in the offering bucket. So it's a community effort. We need sustainability. We need bigger churches, business owners, people to come together and say, okay, the homeless don't feel comfortable going to a regular church. They don't feel comfortable in society. The cops are harassing them. The people are looking down on them. They finally have a place where they belong and they feel welcome and they feel loved. Well, it costs money. I mean, the gospel is free. Presenting it is not. Like it costs money when we feed everybody. It costs money to clothe people and do the things that we do. And so it's like one of those things where we just need sustainability, but it's a community effort. Like it doesn't generate any money. And I mean, people don't even know this. Like I'm out here, trying to make money every month to pay my bills. So I'm painting murals. I'm doing brand deals. I'm just doing random things to pay my bills, cutting hair, editing videos for somebody else. Like it's just, I'm not making money like people think I'm making. And we give away all the donations. It's not like, if $10,000 comes in, I take a portion to pay my bills and then we feed the homeless. No, it's like all the money goes back into it, and all the money needs to go back into it because it's a lot to help everybody. Like it's not cheap. It's not free. So tell me, bigger than cardboard. What is that about?
So a couple of years ago, I was on a mission trip in Peru. And with a mutual friend of ours and a mutual friend of the two of us. And we were driving in the middle, like there was like an avalanche happening. We're driving on this road. And you and I was already, hanging out with you and doing stuff with you. And one of my buddies was like, yeah, to make some extra money on the side, I do sports cards. I buy and sell sports cards. Well, I had a sports card and trading card game shop when I was like 21. Mm-hmm. So I started thinking about this, and I'm like, really? I'm like, asking a bunch of questions, whatever. So I come home, and I'm like, this sounds really cool. My son didn't really have a career, hadn't figured out. He's in his early 20s. So I'm like, all right, let's do this. Let's think about this. And he's all into sports and loves it. So, we'd been in the hobby and collected and all these things. So we start this business kind of unofficially, and it was when I was talking to you about, like, I think we can have this massive impact to help the world through the marketplace, through industry, where if every business or if some business would agree to give 10% of their profitability to to supporting organizations like Worth and Purpose that are really doing things for people in the world, that becomes a circular thing for them. And so people love to do business with companies that are doing more than just trying to make as much money as they possibly can. And you and I are very aligned in like, money doesn't really matter. It's a tool that we have to have to do what really matters.
Yeah.
And so my idea with what we started as Collect for Good was that I could put up the money, help my son get started, but my portion of the profits would go back into ministry, and he would be able to make a living. And so it would kind of solve two things. So we could do good in the world and he could make a living. That's when I started talking to you about that. And my hope was, all right, so like I'm a visionary guy, similar to you. Like if I can show other business leaders and other business owners that this can be how things should be, then maybe they would follow along and we can start having more and more impact. And so Bigger Than Cardboard was birthed out of that. So Collect for Good has a healthy following online. We are very much involved in women's sports, which is also really awesome because that's an underserved part of the industry. And so it's been really great to like plug in with women's sports and support there and, help grow the hobby, be part of a growing hobby in women's sports, but also be able to kind of take profits and help push them back into, Worth and Purpose as an example. And so as we form Bigger Than Cardboard, it's now growing to it's outside of women's sports. We've got men's sports. We've got collectible card games and other trading cards as part of our mission to then grow our online presence. And we have a local shop. So I partnered with an awesome guy locally who owned a shop called Flogo Shop. And now we've come together to form Bigger Than Cardboard. And the idea behind Bigger Than Cardboard is that the hobby should be much more, I can't even talk. The hobby should be more than just how much money can we make flipping cardboard. It should have impact.
Nice.
And so Bigger Than Cardboard is our way to say we want to have impact while we're buying and selling cardboard all day, which is really fun and we love it. And it's a great industry and it's a great community, but it's got to be about bigger than just, and I feel like that's it. The bigger than part is bigger than whatever business you're in. Ours is cardboard. Yeah. Right. But it's bigger than, I don't know, cutting grass. It's bigger than the financial industry. It's bigger than banking. It's bigger. Everything we do should be about more than just money. Yeah. And that's really what it comes down to. Nice. What we do is about more than money. That's cool. It's about people we serve and how we love other people, right? And you're doing the best job of anybody I could think of loving people. So I want Bigger Than Cardboard to be part of how you love people. And I also want to love people in our industry. And so that's really from my heart, my head, how that shows up. Super cool. So Bigger Than Cardboard. Bigger Than Cardboard. Nobody outside of the hobby understands what that means, but in the hobby, you understand what it means. So it works out. That's awesome.
Hey everyone, so if you stayed to the very end, please subscribe and support Bigger Than Cardboard. To learn more about these stories, hit the notification bell so that every time they drop, you are the first to know. If you're in the hobby and you want to get involved, please go to betterthancardboard.com. And also go visit our friend Travis Doodles on his YouTube channel and go to travisdoodles.com to learn more.